Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and on today's program we catch up with Tom Clasby from the Quincy Council on Aging and find out what's happening for the month of November. First, though, we check out weather and news for you. Currently in Quincy, brilliant sunshine out there. It's 58 degrees right now, about as warm as it's going to get today, but we have abundant sunshine all day to kick off the new month. And temperatures again near 60. Look at tonight, getting chilly. Lows will drop off into the lower 40s, and that's kind of the story this week. Temperatures steadily declining as the week goes on. Clouds move in mid-50s tomorrow. Look at tomorrow night. Could see a frost in some locations. Same thing on Wednesday, and more clouds than sun on Thursday. Again, highs only in the low 50s, so enjoy today. It's sunny and 58 in Quincy right now. In the news today, the parents of that young girl who was found wandering alone in Quincy Point on Friday will be charged with reckless endangerment of a child. Police say this girl was found in the area of Atherton and South Streets at about 11 o'clock on Friday morning. She was carrying a backpack with some snacks. 4 hours later, police say they located the parents who claimed they thought the girl was with a babysitter. The girl was unharmed. Parents will be summoned to court. State officials were notified about that incident. Well, the Quincy City Clerk's office is preparing for tomorrow's municipal election. City Clerk Nicole Crispo is anticipating a 15% turnout at the polls, which she says means that the results can be tabulated right at the polling places.
It's happening at the polling locations. We will send out the absentee and the early votes to the polling places during the day. So those are to get processed right at the polling places. So no central tabulation here. It's going to be a slow to moderate day. Our poll workers will be able to process those ballots there in person.
Crispo says about 300 voters participated in either early voting last week or they requested a mail-in ballot. Polls will be open tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for races for 3 school committee seats, the at-large council seats, and the council seats for wards 1, 2, and 5. Quincy Access Television will be providing live election night coverage tomorrow night beginning at 8 o'clock. Well, a Quincy police officer is being honored for his efforts in trying to save a woman at Wollaston Beach. Sergeant Patrick Faraday swam out to try and rescue a woman who had entered the water back on November 15th of 2019. Now, the air and water temperatures were 40 degrees. Sergeant Faraday was forced to return after suffering hypothermia. He was taken to Quincy Medical Center for treatment. Faraday recently received the Irish American Police Officers Association Life-Saving Award. Here you see Quincy Police Chief Paul Keenan and Officer Robert Sweetland, who's president of the Irish American Police Officers Association, making the presentation at police headquarters. That woman was rescued by the Quincy Police Marine Unit and by state police. She was also taken to Quincy Medical Center for treatment. Quincy accountant Dolly DePisa has been appointed to the Quincy College Board of Governors. The Quincy resident is managing partner of DePisa and Company CPAs out of Marina Bay. She also co-founded the Women's Business Connection of the South Shore Chamber of Commerce and is past president of the New England Women Business Owners and the Alliance of Women's Business and Professional Organization. DePisa also past president of both the Quincy Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary Club of Quincy. Dr. Wayne Westcott, chair of the Exercise Science program at Quincy College, recently received the Honor Award from the New England chapter of the American College of Sports Medicine. Westcott received the award at the group's annual conference that was held in Providence. The past president of the American College of Sports Medicine said that Westcott is a passionate educator, internationally recognized researcher, prolific author, and a gracious mentor. Quincy College President Rick DeCristofaro praised Westcott for his commitment to generations of students and to the good health of the region. Westcott has authored 30 books, has been a strength training consultant for the U.S. military and 6 NFL teams, and was longtime fitness research director at the South Shore YMCA here in Quincy. Coming up, we sit down with Quincy Council on Aging Director Tom Clasby. That's next. Welcome back. Thought a great way to kick off the new month of November was to have Tom Clasby come on in and tell us what's happening at the Kennedy Center and beyond, where they are now open. Right, Tom?
We are,
Yeah.
Joseph. We are open, and it's wonderful to be in studio with you. We've done a few things over the phone,
Yes.
but it's great to be here. And let me just take the opportunity to thank you and everyone here at QATV, because during the pandemic, you were a lifeline to our seniors. We did extended programming. You guys always rise to the occasion, and it was terrific. I was telling people to tune in not only for that program, but really to get the latest on the pandemic and everything else, because here it's the facts, and I love that. I appreciate. I always think of you, Joe, as the old-time newsman, which unfortunately I think in many ways is long gone, but in the networks. But so appreciate all your hard work and all the hard work that was done by the staff here.
Well, thank you, Tom. We appreciate that. We did. It was a team effort for sure.
No
Everybody
doubt.
really pitched in and worked together and did the best we could. So we appreciate the recognition
No doubt.
and appreciate you as well. Utilizing us to get information out.
Well, it was terrific for folks, because so much of what we do is at the Kennedy Center and
Right.
the programming, and just to be able to get it on the air, and when people would call, we'd tell them that you can still take your yoga class, various classes, balance and exercise, and so much.
It became so important, right, to have that connection and have some sense of normalcy and some physical activity too. When did you officially open?
So we opened June 1st, and it's interesting. We phased it all in. Before that, as long as talking about the prior to opening and all the help we got from things that we were doing, because the staff remained in throughout the pandemic. We came in because transportation was providing groceries for folks that were quarantined. So we hear a lot, rightfully so, we hear a lot about the first responders, and we think fire, police, and the nurses and doctors that were on, and absolutely want to give them kudos, but like I wouldn't, had I not seen it firsthand, thought of Council on Aging transportation. But there they were, our drivers were out, and we have a lot of people that have dialysis and cancer treatment that had to get to the doctors. So we kept that up. And then the rest of the staff were just kind of doing information and referrals. So we were open throughout. It was bizarre to be in there and not have it filled with activity.
I bet.
Like I've always said, like a singing group on Thursdays, you hear the singing, and or a game room, you'll hear laughter coming out of the game room and all that. And it was strange to be in there.
You're really quiet.
Oh yeah, it really was. To wait, it was nice for the first 2 days. But no, it really was. And so, beginning in June, what we said, and again, the mayor was very clear that he wanted to make sure that the building was safe, but he also wanted to move in as aggressively as we could to get things back to normal.
Sure. They were the first group of folks probably to get vaccinated, right? Most of your clients,
they were, because that opportunity had arisen for them, and and the numbers were high of folks, and that they wanted to get it right away. So. And of course, I was concerned, and they said as soon as they get their shot, they're going to call us. When are you opening?
That's right. And that's probably what happened, right?
Yeah, of course it is. And we still thought, well, let's kind of like tiptoe with this. So we opened, a couple of the events that take place in the gym, because the gym's very, spread out.
Huge,
and we were able to do that, And then every couple of weeks moving forward, we reopened. The last thing we opened was the cafe where they congregate, and it's the library cafe. So it's very, it's one of the smaller settings. So we did end up doing that also. So we're pretty much, the only thing we really haven't, although we have some coming up, is like our luncheons. We used to do maybe one a month, and we've kind of gotten away from that, because that's bringing really maybe 150 to 200 people in the building all at one time. So, whereas throughout the normal programming. It's kind of spread out throughout the day.
Gotcha. Okay. And now with this, the Delta circulating now, it's best to be cautious. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
and that's the thing. I mean, we just want to be, reasonably cautious. You and I just chatted a little bit, and as we talked about, people are vaccinated, and you really have to. Let's all try to get back to as much of normal as we possibly can. I've been very cognizant of fear-mongering of that. It's something that disturbed me, as the thing was going on. So I tried to put out as much information as I could in terms of the things that we've done in the building. The building's sanitized every day. The sanitation is unbelievable. I mean, it gets rid of the normal flu and any germs you can think of. I mean, the list is, I had to laugh. It's like HIV and heavy duty disease.
Really? Yeah.
I mean,
so it's never been cleaner, basically.
Really,
Yeah.
it has never been cleaner. And when the heating system was redone, we had already put in great filters and stuff like that. So the air quality is tremendous. I mean, to be honest with you, it's the safest place. I feel
Right.
safer at work than I do at home.
Right.
Yeah. In terms of.
No, we don't have HEPA filters in our
exactly.
homes. You open up a window.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So.
So is it back to full occupancy? No
Yeah,
limitations?
back to full
Okay.
occupancy. All the programs. I was shocked, Joe. We have it's over 150 new members.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that surprised me.
In the past year?
Yeah, in the
Wow.
as soon as June came, people. Now, part of that is, with every month comes somebody who turns 60, and
Okay.
and we end up getting people to join. But a lot of them were folks that I think were just fed up with not having anything to do. That were well over the 60 range,
Yeah.
and just never got around to. Part because they had other things going on.
Right.
But yeah, we have I think it was 157 or something like that
Okay.
last time I checked.
So how many
New
total
members.
now?
Well, we got like 7,000 members. Overall, not all of those are active.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah.
They kind of pick and choose what they like to attend, right?
Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, there's some people, and I always said this from day one. I don't care if a person comes in just for one thing.
Yep.
And some people do. Some people just like to pick out books, and then they dot off.
It's just one more thing on their calendar that they do, right?
Exactly, and that's fine. And then there's other people that are there for everything.
Right.
They're playing pickleball, they're doing exercise, they're playing games, cards, sing-along,
Yes.
everything. And that's great too.
So you're there for both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything right now that you are, other than luncheons, that you're not doing, like your trips, things like that?
No, we resumed the trips.
Okay.
And we've already had a couple of trips, and no issues.
No issues?
Everything's been running
Okay.
fine. People, we haven't had any outbreaks or anything
I was
like
gonna
that.
ask you
We're
about
watching
that,
that. We're watching it.
Well, you've got the health department in the same building. So.
Something too.
Yeah.
And Marley is just. I knew him before. But didn't
new
work.
health commissioner, for folks who don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I should. But we have a long tradition in Quincy of having really outstanding health commissioners, and he is no exception. He has just come in, and we've done a lot of things together already. We had under his leadership, we had a skin screening from
Very important.
Dana-Farber.
Yep.
He also parlayed that that was for the seniors, and then my assistant director, Marie Farrant, her husband is a firefighter,
Yep.
and she talked about possibility of doing it for the firefighters sometime. He jumped right on it. Let's do it. Well, so he had one for the firefighters.
Okay.
We've had blood drives. We will be doing booster shots.
You will be?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're coming in with Manit.
Okay, sure.
That was another thing too, that Manit did great work, but some people didn't realize the role. The city played a big role in assisting Manit with that. We did with transportation and phone calls.
Yes.
The Parks Department was unbelievable. They had all kinds of folks in to take phone calls, to make
Okay.
appointments, to get back to people. So that was the city was involved.
Yeah, well, I
very
know.
much involved.
I was speaking with Cynthia Sierra from Manat Community Health Center. When they first started giving the vaccination, she told me that over 70% of the people they were vaccinating were not Manat patients.
Yeah.
They had never heard of Manatt before.
Right.
They do now,
Right.
certainly.
They do now, that's for sure. Yeah, absolutely. You know, but no, Molly's done great work, and the staff has too. We've put in our Way to Go weight loss class that his staff are helping.
Yeah,
out.
WIGH, right?
Yeah,
Way to go.
Yeah, right,
Yes.
exactly. And you know, he's done a number of things and
That's
come
great.
up with a lot of ideas. But,
Yeah. The holidays are coming.
The holidays are coming,
yeah.
so the mayor will be having his Thanksgiving.
He will be. Okay.
Yep, that's on. In fact, I arrived in work today at 8:30, and the parking lot was filled. And I can always tell when it's the first day of the month because that's when we have all our signups for trips and everything else.
Ah.
So the first tickets went out this morning for the mayor's Thanksgiving dinner, and there'll be people coming in throughout the day, and you know, as long as they last. It'll be a couple of weeks probably before it sells out.
Right.
So that's on. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I know you do usually have a big Christmas party too.
We will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be having the Christmas party. We're planning on that right now.
Okay.
We haven't. I don't think we've secured the date yet. but,
Yeah. Okay. Let's get through November 1st.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know you brought the new.
Well, the last big thing we did
yeah.
was the St. Patrick's Day party.
Yes.
And then the shutdown
Yes.
came.
Yeah, March 2020. Right?
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So really, the Thanksgiving event will be the first.
It'll be the
big,
first one. Yeah, really big event.
gathering.
Yeah.
You have brought the new November newsletter with you.
did, yes, yeah.
And do you want to highlight some events?
Yeah, so we did mention just the other thing, but you know, we just had our craft fair last week.
Okay.
And so that was just another thing that is kind of a remembrance of getting back to normal, because that was an annual event. So
Yes.
we did that. But on the 16th of November, we'll have craft time, and it's a craft class that will be taking place. So they can call on that. The cost is $15. And I don't know what craft, they always come up with something that's pretty catchy. And
Okay.
usually have to do with the things. But we have a monthly birthday celebration, and that'll take place on the 17th. And our good friends at Hamill and Leiden Chapel Funeral Parlor put on a great little birthday celebration each month.
Okay.
For the folks that are having that birthday for the month, and it's a lot of fun. The staff there is tremendous. They come in and do that thing. One of the things that we have pushed to do early on, before we even had a Kennedy Center, was I really felt it was imperative to reach out to those that were in bereavement.
Yes.
We tried it, and we weren't all that successful, and I think a lot of that was because we didn't have a center for folks to gather in. At the time, we were using the Squantum Gardens facility, which was somewhat mysterious for some people. That had been military housing. A lot of people would go in there, and where it was not being utilized all that much, the buildings appeared to be, abandoned. So I think that was part of it. So what we did was we started to issue a letter of condolence and a bereavement book that we sent out to folks. And that was very helpful, and it's been really a successful thing. We've gotten a lot of feedback about getting that back. But having said that, I still always felt it would be important to get folks together that were bereaving, and we were able to do that. So that'll take place again. We're back to another thing that will open up on the 18th of November.
Very good.
So we'll have our bereavement group.
Okay, because unfortunately, folks have passed away from this pandemic.
I absolutely, and from the pandemic, and then it's a natural course of life.
Right.
But it's an interesting thing for elders. I remember when my uncle passed away, my aunt called and was chatting, and she had a very difficult time, and she said, I don't understand, my own grandmother, who would have been her mother-in-law, lost her husband at a very young age. He was only 36, my mother's father. And she said, I don't understand, my uncle and my aunt were, I don't know if they were high school sweethearts or elementary school sweethearts.
Wow.
They grew up across the street from each other, more or less. Yeah. So she had known them her whole life, and she said, when your grandfather died, your grandmother just seemed to, get over it and go on with life. I said, she didn't have a choice. She had 4 little kids. My point is this, Joe. I think sometimes for seniors, people that are married for a long time, and especially if the marriage has been a really good marriage and the kids are out of the house, they become even more dependent on each other than they were maybe when the kids were younger.
Sure. Well, they have more time with each
Yeah,
other.
yeah, and the daily routine is together.
Yes.
So it can be a really trying and difficult time. Never easy at any stage of the game
obviously,
to lose someone that you love, but so I just felt it was important to do that, and we've been successful, and
Excellent.
and people get a lot of, I think a lot of people find that it eases them through the sorrow of losing somebody, but it also gives them a certain sense of gratitude for the life, and then there's that I'm helping this person out as well.
Yeah.
We're going through this together.
Well, there is the grieving process.
Yeah,
There are stages
absolutely.
to grief that you have to go
Absolutely.
through, and you need help with that sometimes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know a couple of months ago you wrote a letter in the newsletter about the cost of some of the classes at the Kennedy Center, Tom, and how some people were not particularly happy with that.
Yeah.
Did you get any feedback from that
I got
letter?
a lot of feedback, and I'll tell you something,
Yeah.
though. I got all positive feedback.
Okay.
Which was wonderful, and I wrote that in one of my more sarcastic moods, but I understand, people that are retired or on fixed incomes, but we've never raised our prices.
Right.
Ever. The Transman program, which is 25 years old, we've never raised the price, and most people find a way, and we assist people if they can't.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I just I did address that, and it's funny, Joe. Usually when people mention their articles, they feedback on either my writing skills, good or poor, because I'm not always grammatically correct. But most of them enjoy them, and I do get a lot of feedback. Generally, get feedback from the stuff that I read, the personal stuff I wrote about my folks.
Yes.
And a lot of people were coming up to me, that was a great article, that was
Yep.
a great article. Well, you submit the thing a week or two before.
So you forgot what
Totally
exactly you
forgotten.
said.
Thank you. And then I had to go grab a copy of the newsletter.
What did I say?
See what I had written about,
Yeah.
but it was about my folks, and I think of my parents a lot. They were there every day. A lot of people knew them. My father would fall asleep. I used to call him security. He'd be at the front door asleep. But no, it's a lot of joy, and for the most part, that particular article did get a lot of feedback.
Interesting.
But it was positive feedback.
Good.
And I was grateful.
That's
for that.
good.
Most people realize it's a good deal.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, even
Yeah.
just the cost of gas these days.
And I mean, we don't.
it doesn't cover that.
We don't make any money.
Right.
The transportation programs are running at a loss forever, which
Right.
is fine. That's what government does. It's different from business.
That's
in
right.
That, we provide services, and and the tax dollars go so far, and then there's a little bit of give.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There are many, I'm sure you're aware, many councils on aging that have no transportation services.
Correct. Yeah.
They have no classes.
Yeah.
They have a
Yeah.
room basically.
Some of them don't even have any kind of center.
Right.
Although there's a lot of nice ones that have been popping up, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. You know what? Thank God for, and I think part of it is the difference between a city and a town. But Mayor Koch, of course, having been a council on aging director, gets it. I didn't have to pitch anything to him. He understands
Right.
that totally and has a heart for seniors, I think, just generally. But I'm amazed at some of the way COA directors have to fight for stuff in more or less in the small towns. The
Okay.
big cities tend to get it a little more. But senior centers are just terrific. I mean, they're great for, I had no idea the kind of impact it would make on people's life. I knew it would be a good thing. I didn't realize, people that suffer with depression find it enlightening to come. there's those that are lonely at home.
Yep.
They find friends there. The grieving process.
Yes.
Also just making new friends.
Yep.
Can help people through that. Having a friendly face and stuff like that. So they have a tremendous impact on the quality of life.
Yeah,
which is
and
our
the
goal.
importance over the past year and a half has been remarkably
huge.
evident.
Yeah.
To have a social
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah, and that was looking back, everyone can be a Monday morning quarterback about the governor and local government,
Yep.
and COAs and everything else, But that was one of my big concerns, was how are we going to deal with the isolation, and have we taken that into consideration?
Well, the news is you're back.
That's it. That's it. Absolutely.
Great to see you, Tom.
Yeah.
Really
Great to
appreciate
see
it.
you. I'm babbling away.
Not at all.
But it always goes quick. But I appreciate you and everybody here. It's just
Thank you.
very good to us.
It's our pleasure. Let's take a look at the forecast for the rest of the day today. Really, I think the pick of the week. So get out and enjoy it. Sunshine and near 60 degrees. Chilly tonight. That's not as cold as it's going to get this week, though. Looking ahead, the clouds will increase. The temperatures will decrease. May see our first frost here by Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Thanks again to Tom Clasby for joining us from the Quincy Council on Aging. Thanks to our crew, and thank you for watching. On Friday, it's all about the 10th annual Promises for Purple Walk for Pancreatic Cancer. We'll see you then.